Hello, everyone. My name is Walter Evans Lasula from the Philippines. Currently, I am an English teacher at Language Link Vietnam. I have been a proud non-native English speaking teacher in Hanoi, Vietnam for 7 years already. Today, I will be presenting my research for my Master's of Arts in Education major in English at Cebu Normal University, Cebu City, Philippines. This research would like to tackle one of the most interesting phenomenon in ELT in Vietnam and worldwide. This qualitative research is entitled The Lived Experience of Non-Native EFL Teachers in Vietnam, a Phenomenological Inquiry. Presently, with the success of English as an international medium of trade and communication, several non-English speaking countries across the globe have embraced it as a compulsory foreign language. In Asia, specifically in Southeast Asia, many of its countries like Thailand and Vietnam have prepared their citizens towards ASEAN integration and globalization through enhancing their English language proficiency. Despite the overwhelming reforms in their academic platforms and educational system, Vietnam still faces a low proficiency rate in English language. The figure drops of every rate. This challenge prompted the government and the Ministry of Education to hire more native and non-native English speaking teachers to enhance their English language proficiency. Currently, in Vietnam, English language teaching has become one of the most popular jobs for both native and non-native. The booming industry has caused the disproportionate demand supply. With the 85 million population and sizable proportion of citizens with strong desire to learn English, the demand of ELT far outstrips the supply of native speakers, leading to employment of non-native speaker teachers. In fact, this phenomenon has not only been felt in Vietnam, but globally. With the overwhelming presence across the globe, the number of non-native English-speaking teachers has outnumbered the number of native English-speaking teachers. Despite the phenomenon happening worldwide, several researchers focus on their attention on the learning process and the EFL learners instead of the teachers themselves. And in my opinion, a teacher is one important element in the success of a student learning. There is not much emphasis being considered on the effectiveness of non-native English-speaking teachers. Being a non-native English-speaking teacher myself in Vietnam for 7 years made me realize that life has never been really a walk in the park. But despite all this tribulation, many non-native English-speaking teachers surpass the tough challenges of teaching and living. However, their voices and inspiring stories of my fellow non-native English-speaking teachers who made it through the formidable yet exciting life as an educator in Vietnam has never been heard or told. It is in this note that I explored the lived experience of non-native English-speaking teachers working as English teachers in Vietnam and the meanings ascribed to these experiences. The study utilized qualitative research design, specifically by Edmund Hurstler, descriptive phenomenology. The main priority of this research was to explore the in-depth lived experience of non-native speaking EFL teachers, which was the most effective technique to use for this approach. Data analysis using phenomenological methods and the process of deductive interpretation and critical evaluation of statements, utterance, and themes that were used during the interview would be able to have use for significance of the concept. This study focused more on the conditions and challenges of foreign educators in Vietnam, which is why the researcher explored the emerging themes that were apparent among the lived experience. The study includes two research instruments. Firstly, the researcher-made survey was answered to get the profile of the participants in terms of age, educational attainment, teaching background, years of residence, and the study subjects that they have taught. It had undergone expert validation before data gathering by a panel of instrument validators who are experts in qualitative research. As a key instrument also in gathering qualitative research, the researcher bears a great responsibility for the outcomes. For the participant, this study involved current non-native speaking English teachers in Vietnam who are currently teaching in major cities like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh. Specifically, 12 non-native English-speaking teachers from various nations disclose their lived experiences, namely from the Philippines, Vietnam, Netherlands, Venezuela, Brazil, Spain, India, Ghana, Russia, France, Ukraine, and Poland, speaking different first languages ranging from 2 to 12 years of experience of teaching English in various levels, from kindergarten to university levels. To qualify for the research, the explicit inclusion criteria was established. They must be a current non-native English-speaking teacher with at least 2 years teaching in the country. The selected participant must be willing to participate and share their conditions and challenges, and they should be competent enough to share their lived experience. Also, the teacher participants are coming from the major cities of Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, since these places have many universities, schools, and language centers offering English courses, which resulted into the employment of non-native English-speaking teachers. The said city had a great rise of language centers and school offering English courses, where most of the non-native English-speaking teachers are employed. For the data gathering, as soon as the selection of the samples were done, an email requesting for the participant for an in-depth interview were sent to the potential participants who were currently employed in Vietnam. The approval and consent of the participants to participate was deemed necessary before conducting the interview to ensure not only safety and the privacy of the participants, which is the main ethical consideration of the study. As soon as the confirmation was done, the interview schedule was set through Zoom platform. In the first phase of the interview, the participants were informed about the aim of the study, where the interview would happen, and the importance of the tape script. The interview lasted for 45 minutes to an hour. Then the interview were transcribed and the participants were given a chance to review their answer. The second interview, or the member checking, lasted for at least 20 to 30 minutes to verify the veracity of the transcript and clarify some areas that needed further explanation. Once the data from the profile and the interview were collected and transcribed, the researcher analyzed, interpreted, and organized the data using Paul Kulaji's descriptive phenomenological data analysis. Each transcript had been read several times to gain sense of whole content. At this stage, feelings and preconceived biases coming from the researcher as an insider to the phenomenon was written in a bracketing diary, which could help focus on the phenomenon as experienced by the participants only. Meaning generated from the lived experience form part of the categories, with being done as part of their third phase. Each underlying meaning was coded in a category as they reflect into the exhaustive description and the unit of understanding. Afterwards, integration of finding was done in the fifth stage of the structure, and emerging themes were integrated into the discussion. Finally, validation of the description was facilitated through member checking and the researcher returned the fundamental structure to all the participants to validate if it captured really their lived experience. Modification of the structure was done in light of the participants' suggestion and feedback. With this in mind, after the data analysis, there were 5 categories that emerged. The 5 essential themes with 17 sub-themes are personal growth and contentment, professional rewards and development, promotions and career support, professional predicaments, and personal drive. The first major theme is professional rewards and development. The joys of teaching stem as well from the personal gains that a teacher can obtain while performing his or her job. To be specific, The semi-structured interview exhibited that teachers acquire valuable developments and respect as they work in Vietnam. Teachers experience improvement in their pedagogical knowledge and teaching strategies, being exposed to a series of professional developments and teaching strategies given to them. Further, as as they evolve into different teaching practice, they have developed necessary skills and knowledge that need to do their job effectively. The study reveals the importance of teaching development in personal satisfaction among the non-native speakers. Some of these non-native English-speaking teachers started their careers in Vietnam, and they've seen much growth and maturity in their profession as they continuously work, adapt, and modify based on their students' needs and capability. The joy of being better in the teaching craft has been considered as one of the personal fulfillment they have greatly achieved in the process. As mentioned by one of the participants, specifically participant number one, generally speaking, they will give you a lot of freedom and deliver you the lesson to prepare for you to develop your own style. Another theme that emerged in the research is personal growth and contentment. One of the driving forces that led to the major diaspora of non-native teachers in Vietnam can be attributed to the growth and satisfaction of personal demands. Such personal contentment has been highlighted through the social and emotional development brought about by the relationship built with their peers, the promises of adventure, and the financial stability and comfortable lifestyle revealed during their interview. Teacher participants who have teaching assistants aided them in their lesson delivery, find it easier to manage their classes, and collaborating with them make it easier to effectively teach. Such a level of dynamism between teacher and teaching assistant is highly valued by the participants. The given utterances, meaning, for example, participant A mentioned that it was easy to get a visa and the living costs were low, and the sense of adventure and new challenge mentioned by participants and clearly show that non-native English-speaking teacher enjoyed a more comfortable living standard as the cost of living in Vietnam is more reasonably priced compared to other thriving nations around the world. The pressure of earning more to commensurate the expense is not big stress experience, which eventually helped them to enjoy a well-balanced life. Also, a theme about promotion and career opportunities have been highlighted. One of the biggest advantages of non-native English-speaking teacher in Vietnam is the vast employment opportunities available for qualified employees. Vietnam has become one of the top destinations for EFL seekers, job seekers. As revealed, the participants mentioned here that first it really meant teaching English was not the first plan, but the market happened. So basically, you had need for teachers and the job, and it was easy to find a job, which means to say that due to the popularity of English as a medium of instruction around the world, especially in Asia, many native and non-native migrated to different parts of Asia, with Vietnam being one of them. Inevitably, a major theme that has been recurring in the interview would include professional predicaments. Despite the numerous professional rewards and personal growth that non-native English-speaking teachers obtain from working in Vietnam, they also experience their pain related to the profession. Cultural difference is a major cause that made the teachers experience difficulty in managing their classes and the most challenging elements of the new educational system to cope with. Despite having years of teaching expertise in their native countries, they struggle to handle behavior issues in the classroom. The study showed that the additional external pressure from the parents can be challenging on the part of non-native English-speaking teachers, as they have to ensure that demands and expectation of learning should be attained. Due to the parents' preferences and presumptions, companies need to give it to their demand, leading to the struggle of these teachers. These could gravely affect their teaching performance and the confidence towards themselves, as teaching and the learning process becomes an arduous task of ticking off a list of expectation instead of enjoying the experience and language immersion. Aside from that, the unfair treatment from schools and employers has been one of the barriers experienced by the non-native English-speaking teachers in Vietnam. They felt the discrimination right at the moment they apply for the job. For them, it takes a lot of proving their worth and competence when they were employed since they are non-English natives. The significant statements mentioned here that it was a bit privilege given to non-native speakers that it's that they have been rewarded based on the foreign language rather than their qualification and experience or even their ability to do their job. Sometimes you have to pretend that you're from a different country so that they would parents would not be asking as they wanted to have a native speaker. Finally, to complete the major theme would be personal drive. The non-native English-speaking teachers' personal drive to cope with the difficulty they experience in Vietnam includes enhancing their qualification, maintaining positive mindset, and cultural adaptation, flexibility in teaching, and collaborating with peers. To maintain a competitive edge in the EFL market, non-native teachers express that in their responses, the need to be certified to be qualified. In fact, participant number 2 mentioned if you're a non-native English-speaking teacher, you have to step up your game. You know you need to attend as much training as you can. You don't settle for TESOL or TEFL alone. You have to adapt and you have to come up with things that would work. So that's my vision, and of course, your perspective and attitude would kind of involve as well in the process, as participant number 10 would mention. With this in mind, I hope that my research would serve as an inspiration to incorporate the following essential E's: employ, evaluate, educate, engage, empower, and encourage. Employ. Employ more qualified non-native English-speaking teachers and delimit the qualification basis just on the color of the teacher's skin, their context, or their creed. Evaluate the ELT situation in Vietnam and have the initiative to get trained and to be more qualified to have a competitive edge in the EFL market. Also, be quite flexible and sensitive enough to adapt to demands of culture and classroom. Educate parents and teachers and employers to minimize the occurrences of discrimination, maltreatment, and biases among non-native and native English teachers in the workplace. Engage more in research to look into teachers and students' perceptions of both native and non-native. Empower more non-native English-speaking teachers to join in campaigns and workshops to introduce and reinforce effective coping mechanisms employed by these non-native participants to combat the barriers cited. Encourage schools and employers to hire, train, promote more non-native English-speaking teachers in order to provide more professional development, personal contentment, and financial stability. To conclude, this research is a wonderful testament that if we strive harder, insurmountable amount of success is just within reach. Just like many stories of adventure, my interviews with these amazing participants often culminate with a proverbial happy ending. According to the findings of this descriptive phenomenological research, the significant experiences of the teacher revealed that while working abroad can provide benefits to both individuals and family, it also has numbers of drawbacks, particularly for those who are teaching English but are not born as native speakers of the language. Despite these hurdles, non-native English teachers overcome obstacles, conquer challenges, and strive for success, which is a frequent reality to job seekers and dreamers in general throughout their life. Here are some of the references and resources that I have used in the production of this study. To end, let me quote a French philosopher and public intellectual who was also one of the leading academic proponent of phenomenology, Maurice Merleau-Ponty, as he mentioned, we know not through our intellect, but through our experience. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to be sharing something as being part of the non native English speaking teacher community. Have a great day, everyone.